Coming up on Mountain News at 6, with the first snowfall of the season arriving, we hear from school officials about how they determine whether or not to call off school. And officials in Perry County come together to discuss a new strategic plan.
And advisories are going into effect at this hour. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening again. We are getting our first real preview of winter as flakes are flying and temperatures are dropping. More snow is likely overnight and some minor accumulation is possible. Meteorologist Eric Dean has the latest on this First Alert Weather Day. Eric.
All right, good evening, Steve. It is now 6 o'clock. That means all counties, the winter weather advisory has now been is now going into effect, I should say. All the advisories went into effect at 6 o'clock. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the map. If you are in a county shaded in purple, you are now under a winter weather advisory. Goes into effect until 10 a.m. for Harlan, Letcher, Claiborne, Wise, and Lee County, Virginia. 7 a.m. for Dickinson and Buchanan. That's 7 a.m. Saturday. 1 p.m. Friday for Mingo and Logan. And everybody else goes into effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, the winter weather advisory now in effect for the counties shaded in purple. Here's a look outside right now. We're seeing mainly cloudy skies. Snow is starting to fall across portions of eastern Kentucky. Take a look here at live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you can see how it's now starting to push its way in. And we can take a look here at the past several hours, how it just really started to push through, and it's going to continue to fall as we go into the next several hours. And there's a lot more behind this. Look over towards portions of central Indiana. That's going to be pushing its way into our area as we go throughout the overnight hours. So let's go ahead and start the clock with future view, and you can see right there how it pushes its way through, and it's going to continue as we go into the morning hours. We'll get a break in the mid to late morning hours, then another round across the eastern part of the viewing area is not out of the question. We'll go over the latest timing and the latest snowfall totals coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. These snowy forecasts can lead to even earlier mornings for school administrators trying to figure out if they can have school in person or not. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to administrators in Perry County about the protocols they take.
The Perry County School District includes roads from Buckhorn to Leatherwood. When the forecast shows the potential for snow, staff from each area are checking those roads.
I have a staff of about 7 people here in the bus garage, and then there's a couple people here at the central office that help us out that live in different locations of the county.
Hoskins says they are out in the conditions at approximately 3:30 a.m., gathering information to present to the superintendent. With a spread-out district, the options for snow days can be fluid.
It hits the Buckhorn area per se, or the Leatherwood area, you can take a non-traditional day, NTI day, just for that school. But most of the time, if it's hitting one, it's hitting all.
Hoskins says if they spot any kind of safety issue, school will be called off. While the amount of roadways to check might be less for hazard-independent schools, the protocols remain similar.
There's usually a phone call with the National Weather System that we listen to, and then we rely a lot on the city and county crews that get out and scrape the roads.
Combs says they also have staff checking roadways for slick spots.
I have staff, administration staff, on both ends of our district, so I will call them and say, how's it look your way? If it's concerning, I get out myself and go on some of the roads.
Combs also says through all of their decisions, student safety remains their top priority. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Superintendent Combs says they have 10 non-traditional learning days to utilize if students cannot attend class in person. Kentucky State Police have provided some tips for being prepared ahead of the winter weather season. Troopers say to not be out on snowy or icy roads unless you absolutely have to be. They also urge you to have a winter emergency kit ready in the event you get stranded. This includes having a cell phone, a charger, blankets, jumper cables, and a windshield scraper. We have much more about this on our website at WYMT.com. Just click on this story. The former Letcher County Sheriff has been indicted for the murder of a district judge. A Letcher County grand jury indicted Mickey Steins on 1 count of murder in the death of District Judge Kevin Mullins. That incident happened back in September. The indictment says Steins shot and killed Mullins. Steins is set to be arraigned on Monday at noon. An inmate at McCreary Penitentiary in Pine Knot is dead following a fight last night. According to the Department of Justice, 50-year-old Roy Arredondo was pronounced dead at the hospital. One other inmate was involved. The death is now under investigation and no word yet on possible charges. Arredondo was serving a life sentence for drug trafficking. He arrived at the prison in 2022 after being sentenced in Texas federal court. A Morgan County woman is facing charges after she reportedly swung a knife at her boyfriend. According to the arrest citation, Jennifer Cantrell and her boyfriend were arguing about who had more covers on the bed. The argument led to Cantrell picking up a knife and swinging it at the man twice. She even allegedly threw the knife at him, which he was able to dodge. Cantrell was taken to the Rowan County Detention Center. Today, Hazard and Buckhorn officials and the Perry County Fiscal Court hosted a special meeting. WYMT's Amelia Lee was there and tells us what was discussed.
On Thursday, officials in Buckhorn, Hazard, and Perry County came together to discuss their new strategic plan after the success of the first plan in Hazard that started 5 years ago.
And the mayor called me up and said, we've done almost everything that was in the first book. We need a new one.
This time, the plan will go beyond just the city of Hazard.
You've got a lot going on in Buckhorn. You've got new things coming to Rowdy, a lot happening in Leatherwood. Let's all partner together so that we can promote the whole county and what's going on with tourism.
In order to start the process of this new plan, Ted Long says he went to talk to different folks in the community about their hopes for the future of Perry County. This includes water processing, housing, and tourism in the area.
It's the basic things that you think of in a community. We're just figuring out how to move it forward.
Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander says he enjoys seeing the folks in Perry County continue to come together and work together to promote tourism in the area.
We've seen the downtown businesses that started coming back and growing. The city done an amazing job with that plan.
He says tourism plays a big role in Perry County's economy.
It's changing the economics here. We can only grow so big from within. And so as we get these outsiders coming in, and they're coming, I tell people all the time, just look around on the weekends and you'll see side-by-sides here on trailers that's coming here to spend their weekend and their dollars here.
Long says the Kentucky League of Cities will come back at the beginning of next year with a final product to present to community leaders. In Perry County, Amelia Lee, WYMT, Mountain News.
You can find more details from that meeting plus the full agenda on our website, WYMT.com. Today, Governor Andy Beshear awarded more than $2 million to 30 organizations throughout the Commonwealth to combat domestic violence. The funding comes from the Federal Violence Against Women Act grant program. The program is focused on stopping sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. For a full list of the organizations receiving money, you can go to our website. Eastern Kentucky University in Richmond received $5 million for the construction of a childcare center on its Corbin campus. The funding comes from the General Assembly. The childcare center will accommodate more than 100 children. Officials say it is part of the university's initiative to bring a scholar house to the Corbin campus. Earlier this month, we told you about an event happening with Christian Appalachian Project in December. This morning, officials announced that Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman will speak at the nonprofit's toy distribution event. The event is known as Operation Sharing and will take place at Owsley County Elementary on December 12th. Nearly 3 million toys will be distributed in more than 50 counties in Kentucky, as well as some counties in Tennessee.
All right, here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar right now. You can see that snow pushing its way into eastern Kentucky, and we'll time everything out with Future View coming up in just a few minutes.